Well, hi, everyone. I'm James Traub with NEXA Mortgage, and today we're discussing one of the fastest growing loan programs in real estate investing. It's called the Debt Service Coverage Ratio Loan. This is commonly known as DSCR loan. Many investors, they have substantial real estate portfolios, but struggle to qualify for conventional financing because of tax write-offs, multiple properties, or complex income situations. DSCR loans provide a different approach by focusing on the property's cash flow rather than the borrower's personal income. Joining me today is Eric Pissarro, Senior Loan Officer with RCN Capital. Hi, Eric. Thank you for joining us.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Thanks for having me, James. Definitely these programs are helping, investors acquire more properties, definitely preserve their liquidity and help grow their portfolios more efficiently and effectively.
Well, let's start with the basics. What
Okay.
exactly is a DSCR loan?
So kind of what you mentioned just a moment ago, DSCR stands for Debt Service Coverage Ratio. So essentially, instead of qualifying based on, personal income, debt to income ratios, tax returns, W-2s, it primarily focuses on the rental income or the cash flows of the property. And also, this makes these loans ideal for investors whose tax returns may not accurately reflect their true cash flows due to, depreciation and business write-offs.
Um, Let me ask you this. How does the actual calculation work?
Okay. So the actual calculation, what it does is it's going to take the actual rents of the property and you'll divide that by your monthly payment and your month that will give you a ratio. Typically, we want it to be at like a 1.1, so meaning your rental income is about 10% more than your payment. So that way you have a little buffer in there for the cash flows. But essentially, what it is the renter's paying your uh, your principal balance or your balance for your payment.
Yeah, I really like that. It's so simple, even a caveman can do it, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
What types of investment properties can be financed?
So the types of investment properties that we finance are your single family homes. We can also do condominiums, townhomes, your 2 to 4 unit properties, so your duplexes, triplexes, quadplexes, as well as multifamily properties up to 9 units.
Okay, that's interesting. That covers quite a spectrum there. One of the most attractive features seems to be reduced documentation. Are
Correct.
tax returns required?
No, we won't require tax returns at all. Really, the only thing that we want to see is, a credit report, which is also, I'd like to mention that these properties aren't going to be on the borrower's credit report because they will be closing under a business entity. So, once you start accumulating more mortgages, can affect your credit rating. So this definitely helps, our investors keep their credit scores from getting hit too much and too many properties being listed.
That makes sense. Do borrowers need prior investment experience?
No, they do not. So it is, highly encouraged or it does help in some instances. But no, it is not a requirement. But your experience will definitely lead to higher leverages and higher and better pricing. But on the DSCR loan, we're really driven by the credit score. So that's definitely what's going to be the key factor for your leverages that you get.
Oh, that makes sense. Now, this next question, this has to do with what we call loan to value in our business,
Mhm.
which is how much financing is available.
Okay. So for a purchase, if you have 700 plus credit, we can do 80% loan to value towards the purchase, so 20% down. And then for our cash out refinances, we can do 75% loan to value. And then our just straight rate and term, we can go up to 80% loan to value.
Well, There's another term that they throw out there, and it's called loan to cost, LTC.
Hmm.
Many investors hear the term loan to cost. What does that mean?
So essentially, loan to cost is just the actual cost basis of the purchase of the property in most instances. So sometimes you'll see these scenarios where the property actually appraises for higher than what maybe the purchase price is, but most lenders will only go up to 80% of loan to cost, not the actual loan to value. So
Mhm.
you would be capped as far as on that aspect.
Well, I like that. It gives you another way to look at it, doesn't it?
Mm.
Can the DSCR be used after a renovation? So, in other words, how does the DSCR fit into a long-term investment strategy?
So yeah, with a lot of our investors, what we see is what they call the BRRRR method. So it's buy, rehab, rent, refinance, and repeat. So a lot of our investors are seeking those DSCR loans after they rehab a property. So that way, the property stabilized, they can get a renter in there, get the property to cash flow, and then they'll refinance into long-term debt, such as a 30-year mortgage.
Why is this important for realtors to understand?
It's important for realtors to understand because really it'll help, uh, those real estate investors, find additional properties as
Mhm.
well as help expand their portfolios
Mhm.
faster. And, typically one investor can definitely create multiple
Mhm.
transactions over time, because a lot of these guys are trying to build up their portfolio and, definitely a realtor, with an owner-occupied property, maybe just have one customer. These guys do, they can do five a year or more. So in some instances.
I like that, especially about creating repeat business. That's really
Mhm.
great. Um, well, what makes your company, RCN Capital, a strong partner for investors?
Um, Definitely, I would say, our customer service for one,
Mhm.
is a great deal. A lot of, lenders, it's hard to get your loan officer on the phone or, we definitely have a great contact with our customers as well as speed. Typically, we're closing in 3 to 4 weeks. So that definitely helps our investors, through the process because typically they need to be, they're usually pushed up against a deadline. So we need to be quick with, our actions.
They'll get James Traub from NEXA Mortgage on the phone real quick if they need
Yeah.
him. So here's today's big takeaway on this. It's pretty simple. DSCR loan financing. This allows investors to qualify based on rental property cash flow rather than the personal income documentation and tax returns and all that other stuff. Very simple. For realtors, this creates opportunities to work with more investors, close more transactions, help clients expand their real estate portfolios. It can help provide a simpler path to financing and long-term portfolio growth. So, if you're a realtor, or their clients and you're working with these situations, you can look forward to expand your portfolio. Let's discuss your financing options. There may be solutions that can help you acquire, renovate, refinance, and grow more efficiently than you thought possible. I'm James Traub with NEXA Mortgage. Hi, Eric, and I really appreciate your bringing your information to us today. Thank you.
Thank you, James. It was a pleasure.